I've been in this house since 1990, and the problems I had started about 3.5 years ago. The mortgage I had ended up with a balloon payment, and when the balloon kicked in, I no longer could afford to make those payments. So I went to the bank and I wanted to refinance and get a lower rate, and they stonewalled me. It reached the point where they sent me a notice that I was facing foreclosure. So I called the bank and I spoke to a woman, and she said that I should apply for a modification. Well, I applied for the modification and they lost my papers. I called again, I didn't get the first person, I got somebody else. Altogether I must have spoken to 7 or 8 people. The left hand never knew what the right hand was doing at that bank. I knew that the bank wasn't serious in their dealing with me. I mean, every time I called, I spoke to somebody different. Every time I sent paper in, I sent it to somebody different. The bank is going to do everything they can do to prevent you from doing what you want to do. And I've got proof of that. Here is all the paperwork that either I had to send to the bank or the bank sent to me in an attempt to keep me from getting my modification. They finally allowed me to have a modification where for 3 months I made payments. And I made those payments, and after making those payments they said, sorry, we're not going to give you the modification. At that point I thought I would need a lawyer. So I went to one of the legal services here in St. Petersburg, and they helped me fill out all sorts of forms, but it was very clear that we got nowhere. I went to another lawyer and I got absolutely nowhere. The bank was stonewalling me. They made it very clear that what they were interested in was foreclosing on my house. So I got a call one day from a law firm called Litvin, and he said to me, if you hire us, I promise you we will do everything within our power to save your house. And he was so forceful and so believable, I really had a strong feeling that they were going to succeed. I mean, they were very clear with how much experience they had with this. They told me the thing that I believed, which was that the only way you were going to beat the bank was to smash them over the head with a hammer. And they said that they had the hammer to do it. And I signed on with them, and we worked together for 2.5 years. They were always there for you. You called them on the phone, left a message, they called you right back. I would send them an email at midnight telling them I wanted something, needed something, I had a question. Always the next day I would get an email back. They were marvelous that way. They promised me that they were going to save my home, and by gosh, they did it. I could not be more pleased with what they did and how they handled it. I would recommend the Litvin law firm to anyone. They did a fantastic job, and I am grateful. I would recommend the Litvin law firm to anyone. They did a fantastic job, and I am grateful. They did exactly what they promised. They saved my house, and I could not be more grateful. We're talking this afternoon. I can continue writing the notes for my proposal, which I should. In my new book, it's called They Call Me God. I did it with Doug Harvey, the National League umpire. Part of my dedication was to the Litvin law firm. And I signed on with them, and we worked together. I got an email from the people down in Miami saying that the bank was going to give me a modification. And when they showed me what the specifics of the modification was, I knew that I was home free. I could not be more pleased with the way that Litvin Torrens handled this case. They told me to put my trust in them, and they did an absolutely fantastic job. I would so recommend them to absolutely anybody who's having problems with the banks concerning their home or their mortgage. I agreed to go. After I had the first conversation with the legal people down in Miami about a 10-page piece of paper with thousands of questions asking them to prove, first of all, that they own this house. And I was just amazed, absolutely amazed, because as I said, this mortgage had gone through 5 different companies, and I couldn't believe that they were going to be able to do that. At any rate, the short story of this is that the Litvin Torrens got the bank, the most powerful people in this country, to give me a modification. And now I will be living in this house for the rest of my life.
It's very good, very profound. I like that. I can use